Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1312 of our daily content grind. I am using a reactive image right now that is not reactive because I didn't have time to set that up. Because my webcam, again, has completely crashed on me, so that is the next piece of upgrade I have to get for this computer. And if it's sounds like I'm a little bit frustrated at this point, is because this is the third time I've had to record it. The first time I accidentally streamed it to Twitch because I finally made that mistake where I hit the wrong button on OBS. Point being, I am fighting through a lot to get this video out for you guys today, so we're gonna go into a topic that I really like, which is the Black Optimus Prime repaint. Now, we've talked about all the Nemesis Primes over the years, but this is going to the opposite side of things, and we're going to be talking about the Optimus Primes repainted in black that are actually still an Autobot, still a good guy, not supposed to be a villain. And that's going to start with technically where that started. Now, Black Convoy came out in 2000 in Car Robots. This one followed shortly after, but this one was done for JavCon in 2000. And yeah, it's just straight up G1 Optimus Prime, but black repaint. And, you know, it looks fine. Like, the stickering detail breaks it up enough to where it's not, like, too stark or anything. Like, it's a nice little convention piece. And I can understand why it wouldn't go full Nemesis, because, well, one, the Black Convoy thing was just getting started. That design does not match this one color scheme-wise, so they probably couldn't have done it. But also, it's Optimus Prime, or Convoy at the time in Japan. Obviously, they're going to be doing, you know, the standard. They're going to be doing him, like, they're going to release him as the character that's going to sell better. Now, I want to stick to the G1 style Optimus Prime. So the next one I'm going to jump to is the hybrid. And here's the other one where it's a completely Nemesis color scheme. The teal's there, the translucent red is there, but still an Autobot. Still a normal Optimus Prime. But this one is not normal in that you're actually getting a few weird G2 accessories with this piece. You're getting the new guns that are based on how his missile launchers looked on his new toy in G2, but also you're getting replacement heads, which you can use on this one, but they are designed for the original, you know, depicting how he looked in the G2 comic books, including the famous comic book cover where his helmet's covered in, like, scratches and slugs that have been shot at him. Interesting way of getting you to go back and buy the original, or convince you to buy this one so you can have a G2 Optimus Prime that's small enough to sit on your desk. Either way, interesting release. This one also does the correct. This one also does, like, the Nemesis thing completely, but if you want an alternative, China did a version of it where it's translucent blue and gold accent. And then it's not the G2 accessories, but just the standard stuff that hybrid usually comes with. So this one's a much harder version to get a hold of, but I really like how this one came out too. This one looks really pretty. And yeah, like, I'm not one of those who misses that mold. I've sold that mold years ago. I'm happy to be away from it, but this is just nice looking. And this hits the sweet spot of me of, it's not too gray, it's not too sparse and monochrome, but it's not Nemesis either. It's doing a great job of hitting that balance of, like, a Black Optimus Prime. This one, not so much. This one's the Robot Master's Black Convoy. Still an Autobot, but the detailing is way more sparse. It looks like a monochrome photo with just red and gold accent. You know, like how people do, like, those, like, stylish photos where it's, like, all stark black and white except for one color that has been permitted to be included. It's kind of the impression I get from this one. It just makes them look a little bit too dull. There's a little bit too monochrome here. It doesn't look bad. It's just, you could have done a little bit more to it. Even his Energon axe is done in silver. That's a weird call to make. Now, there is also a realm of Optimus Primes that feel like they are black repaints, even though they're technically not. I'm going to include them in here because technically they count, but you are free to disregard them. Things like the alternate universe Optimus Prime, where, yes, it's technically a black repaint, but you are seeing a lot of that dark gray in the spots where you expect to see the black. Obviously, black is a major player in the color scheme, but there's a few other shades of gray that are going along with it that we have to accept. I think it's still in the same vein. I still think it's in the same spirit, so I'm throwing it in. But I understand if you don't want to include ones like this. And this is, again, like, in complete contrast, we've slowly lost the color in Optimus Prime the further we have gone here in the last few minutes. Don't worry. We have a version of this that is far closer to what I call a black convoy, and this one I would include in the list no matter what, and that's the original sleep mode. The OG Dead Optimus Prime. It's the repaint of the Masterpiece 01 release. I think this was like... the funniest thing about this release back when it came out was just sleep mode Optimus Prime. Yeah, because he looks like he's asleep, how his body looks like it's about to turn to ash. He's just sleeping, guys. It's a black repaint. This is absolutely a black repaint. Little bits of hits of yellow, not doing enough to break it up though, but that actually makes sense for this one. There's another one. Now, there's a black MP10, but that is absolutely a Nemesis, so we can't include that in the list. But we can include the Bathing Ape version. That one is technically Autobot. It's not a Nemesis. Again, you're in the dark gray area, but I give this one a little bit more credit because it's one of the few Bathing Ape toys that actually made it out. They did so many color schemes and announced all of them around the same time. Like, all of them were supposed to come out, but I think only the red and the gray made it. I really wanted the green, because Optimus Prime never comes out in green. On very rare occasion is he green. But that's just me. That's my personal preferences. But no, I still think it's in the same vein-ish. But I do understand where you might not count it. So let's go to the ones you absolutely have no choice but to count, because these ain't gray repaints. Nucleon Quest. Go all the way back to Optimus Prime's other G1 mold in order to get to this one. This one is kind of legendary at this point because it's halfway. It's halfway from like the Black Optimus that was released, the Black Convoy that was the JabCon release, and an actual Nemesis color scheme. Because now you actually have that teal poking through here and there, and you do have the translucent red in the windows. It's far closer. And a lot of people would mistake this for like a Nemesis Power Master, right? Power Master Nemesis Prime. But it's not the case. Still an Autobot. And even in the Japanese fiction, specifically advertised and in story as Super Convoy, not Jinrai. So it counts on multiple levels here. Super nice color scheme, by the way. Again, it's very stark, but it's doing just enough. The chrome helps a lot. The chrome to break up all that black, that helps a lot. There is a spiritual successor. There's a spiritual successor. There's a literal one in MPG. This isn't out yet, but it is announced, and it is a super pretty take on the Nucleon Quest Super Convoy. Great to see that that's being a thing, because obscure deep cut repaints like that don't often get modern toys. But if you want something that was available to us, you do have the spiritual successor, which is the primitive skateboard Optimus Prime. Based on the modern, the Titans Return Power Master Optimus Prime, I, again, think this is the Optimus Prime, the black Optimus Prime done the right way. The gold trim, especially done in lines going through the toy, not translucent, but like the bright blue for the windshield. All this looks so pretty. So pretty. I regret selling mine. Sold mine ages ago. I should not have done it. I sold it off because I like the Magnus version of this mold so much better, and I figured, like, I just want one version of the mold to play with. It's gonna be that one. But I really should have kept a hold of this thing. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Now, while this might be one of my favorite of the Black Optimuses that is not a Nemesis, it's not it's not the first one that really turned me on to this particular color scheme. For that, I have to look at the Amazon movie Optimus. I saw this at BotCon 2010, before I was tired of the Michael Bay live action aesthetic. And it was one of the most beautiful toys I had ever seen to that point. The black, like, I can't explain to you just how good this toy looks. I can't show you photos that do it justice. You have to see it in person. You really have to see it in person, and it's just an amazing looking figure. One of the few movie toys I would still happily accept if I had an opportunity to get it for a price that, didn't, financially bury me, which is about what it is at this point, because this was an Amazon exclusive in Japan in 2009. So that's a little bit of an ask at this point. Beautiful toy, on a really impressive figure. I don't take anything away from this figure, even if I'm not a fan of the aesthetic anymore. But you got to remember, Nemesis Prime, like our traditional black, car robots, black convoy color scheme, did not exist in the movie verse. It still technically doesn't, even though we do have a very lame version of Nemesis Prime. However, that does mean the normal Nemesis color scheme is fair game. They did that with the Jetwing black Optimus Prime. Now, this one, follow me here. This one was originally slated to be a contest giveaway, but the contest was canceled. This toy was canceled, presumably because someone in the Takara marketing department hit someone in the head with a frying pan and go, "What kind of moron are you? This will make us so much money. Just make it a normal release." And thus they did. Concussion and all. It is a little bit brighter. The blue is a lot more dominant than the contest version of this toy would have been. And the weaponry and everything was not chromed in the original version. So you do have that. Like, it is absolutely, like, a lot brighter and flashier than the original. But again, Nemesis wasn't a thing yet in the live action, so this was released as an Autobot. If I recall correctly, it was still in the exact same packaging with the Autobot branding as the Jetwing version. Age of Extinction also got in on this. Now, it's a lot of blue flame in the vehicle mode. It's a ton of blue flame in the vehicle mode. What strikes me about the robot mode is the fact that the chest is largely kept somewhat similar to the normal one. The reds and blues are still there. It's still predominantly silver. And that's actually doing something for this toy. I think this one has a fascinating look to it. It can't have the standard Nemesis color scheme because obviously he doesn't have a window chest of any kind. But what they're working with here gives them a chance to make something a little bit more unique, and I like that they went with it. It looks really, really pretty. Even if I'm not terribly big on this mold, I still really, really like what they did with it here. Now, the Last Night also went for their Dark Optimus Prime. Admittedly, this one is not a black repaint either. It's technically super dark blue, but I think the Shadow Spark color scheme is still in the same vein. I think this is still the same idea, just remixed a little, because this was starting to be at the time where they're a little bit gun shy about making the characters look too different from how they normally look. So if this was going to be depicted as Optimus Prime, not Nemesis, they had to keep it a little bit closer to his normal, natural colors. But that said, I still think this is in the same spirit and vein, so I'm including it. Now, this is the Allspark Tech version with the light-up cube, but they did do a leader class version as well. If I recall right, this one actually shelf-warmed, if I remember reading reports correctly, which is kind of a shame. Now, and that's probably because the toy itself is kind of infamous. It's not a very well-liked toy. However, I think the deco that they have done on it is very impressively done. I will say I'm not huge on how the colors of the toy ultimately look, but I can appreciate the effort that went into the overall look. The weathered steel, the paint giving way around the legs, the speckling across the shield, the rust on the chest. On a technical level, this is an exceptionally well done toy, even if I don't entirely agree with the color scheme. So it's weird to say that, like, I like it, but I don't like it. Even I'm not quite sure how that works, but it is what it is. Not technically a black repaint, but I feel like it's in the same spirit. If we want to go back to that, I'll give you one last movie prime just to send you home with on the live action verse. This one comes from Dark of the Moon. And this has come from a super weird place. So this is the deluxe mold, and this one came from Milk Magazine in Hong Kong. Milk Magazine was a fashion magazine at the time. Don't know if it's still around or not. Irrelevant to this video. The important thing is they did this stark silver and black Optimus Prime. And when you're talking about a fashion magazine, that kind of makes sense. They stuck with just straight silver and black, trying to keep it very like classy and stylish. I get that. Super weird release. Hard to get now, especially, you know, the price you're paying for a deluxe price figure. But interesting piece if you do manage to get your hands on one. I'm not sure if it was something I would go after. Like, again, it's a little bit too sparse. You know, I need some extra color in there. Still interesting, though. Still weird. Now, there's a few scattered ones here and there that we're going to cover right now. For instance, Animated in Japan also did the Nemesis color scheme on Optimus Prime, and strangely, it works in these colors. He actually does look mean, but still Autobot symbol, still marketed as an Autobot. Again, you're talking about a universe that didn't have a Nemesis, and they were really stubborn about that at the time. You know, same with the movieverse, where if Nemesis didn't exist, or they didn't have like a sensible, logical reason why a Nemesis would exist, they just made it a weird version of Optimus. Okay, works for me because, you know, it still looks nice. Speaking of looking nice, how pretty is this? We've talked about this mold before when we were talking about the HasLab RID Optimus, and when we've talked about Lucky Draws. I don't get tired of looking at this. The gold and red is a beautiful take on the black Optimus color scheme. I love the look of this piece. It's one of the things that makes me lament that the HasLab is not a retail release and will probably never be repainted, because this is super, super pretty. Now, the toy's design is so popular, I don't doubt that we'll eventually get another RID Optimus at some point. Commander class, maybe a leader class if it just transforms straight from truck to super robot. That's where you're going to start getting into all the fun ones. The Defensor retool, the yellow Splendid convoy. This piece of gorgeousness. But for now, we just get to look at it and just admire it. Now, if you want something in this similar style, if you want your black and gold Optimus that's not terribly hard to find or too expensive, find you one of these. This is Dark Guard Optimus Prime, based on the first edition Transformers Prime Optimus, so the mold is one of the best primes out there, and it is beautiful. Like here in this picture, the gold is a little bit brighter, a little bit more saturated than it is in person. It works so well. And again, you're hitting that sweet spot of that translucent blue working in, the gold here and there, you know, not overwhelming anything. I have this toy. Got it during my trip out to California for TFCon, but not at TFCon, weirdly enough. And the toy is gorgeous. Absolute thing of beauty. And holds up really well. The mold's still really, really good. Now, this video is technically labeled Every Optimus with a black repaint that's not Nemesis. Something to that effect. I might change the wording around before we upload it. But the point being, every Optimus is on the table. So here, I'm going to give you a Beast Wars bonus round. You ready? Power of the Primes. Optimal Optimus. The Throne of the Primes version. This is a stupid toy. This is a really stupid toy. But you know what? It's absolutely beautiful in this color scheme. This works so much better. Optimal Optimus natural color scheme. The orange, blue, and maroon is an acquired taste. You had to grow up with it. But this brings such a different vibe to that design, and I absolutely love it. If we ever get a modern, like, big scale Optimal Optimus, I would absolutely love for this to be a repaint. Big Convoy got into this too. Now, I don't know how this one was released. All I know is I very rarely see it anywhere. So, I'm not sure exactly where Black Big Convoy came from. I do know it's super pretty. Part of me thinks I might like it better than the Nemesis color scheme. Like, all I need is a little bit more done with it, like maybe the tusk being a different color, but like, it's very, very pretty. Again, gold, you know, just detailing the black. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, if we're getting into the beasts, one of the omissions here is Black Lio Convoy, who is released and marketed as a Maximal. However, in series, he's one of those, like, I'm the real one clones, so, like, kind of Bizarro, kind of Metal Sonic in that depiction. He is antagonistic. He is a bad guy, even if he thinks he's a Maximal. So I do have to leave him off of the list, which is why the Robot Masters version is not on here either. But this one's fair game. This is a lucky draw Black Lio Convoy that was done, called Tokusei Lio Convoy. It is a super weird one, like super bright red and yellow, very safety colors, kind of play school, kind of McDonald's. But I don't think it looks terrible. It looks weirdly good to me, and I'm not even sure why. Maybe my friends who are into knockoffs are rubbing off on me, because this feels very much like knockoff-ish color schemes. But it is a real thing. It's a lucky draw. It's exceptionally rare. And some of you out there might not have ever even seen it, because this doesn't even have a picture on TF Wiki. So there you go. Something a little bit rare for you to look at as we finish the video. So I'm sure there might be a few others I missed out there. Feel free to tell me in the comments below if I missed one, but that's a lot. I was actually surprised at how many Optimus Primes I found that were done in the black color scheme, but weren't marketed as Nemesis, Black Convoy, or any form of Decepticon. Really unusual. It's more common than I thought. You know, I was expecting a different result here, but you know what? I'm actually kind of happy to see it, and I kind of hope that it continues, because there's some really, really pretty colors schemes in there I wouldn't mind seeing again. So that's the video for the day. Thank you to everyone who's been waiting, and thank you to everyone who, this is my third attempt to do this. The first attempt, I accidentally streamed it. Congratulations to those who saw the alternate universe version of the video. You few proud. I'm going to sit and be embarrassed by that now. But thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.